All right, 130. Now that you've gotten through some of the material, I just wanted to take a moment here to talk a little bit about design considerations. Is it better to have more tables or is it better to have more rows? Let's just stop here for a second, and I will tell you honestly that if you go to ask database professionals, so if I go to ask 50 database developers, DBAs, I go to ask program developers who are working over the web with databases that they're connecting with, if I go to ask 50 professionals, I'm going to get 25 professionals or thereabout that tell me it is better to have more tables with fewer rows. And on the other side of that, I'm going to have an equal-ish amount of developers that tell me it is better to have fewer tables with more rows. So the opposite answer. And what I'm here to tell you is that is perfectly okay. And your experience, so the experience that you are developing here with the course, and later on the experience that you are going to have with whatever enterprise it is that you are working for. So if I'm working here at Rock Valley, etc., there's going to be a prevailing experience that you have that is going to help you design your databases based on what you have noticed works best for you. And that is perfectly logical. It is perfectly acceptable. It is 100% the way that everything goes. But I just wanted to take a moment here to tell you that your experience is going to be just a small portion of the overall experience that the industry has. And it's also going to be true that as you move from one organization to another, that your experience and that organization's experience are probably going to be a little bit different. And again, that's okay. But the best way to go about this is to really just think about the data. It's to think about the project, and it is to find a better way to meet the needs of the two of those. So just as an example, we can look really quickly here at Rock Valley College and investigate what it would be like to start a database for Rock Valley. This would be an awful time to start a database here at Rock Valley because that is many, many decades too late. But okay. If we were going to have a database for student information, obviously we're going to need to start to collect student information. So as a database administrator, we would start to think about what kinds of data points do we need to collect. Well, name, address, phone number, things like that, right? Absolutely. Now let's think about what it's like to enter in that data. If I just ask potential new students to enter name data, how many different ways are there to address just a field in a form someplace that you can see that says name? Well, there's a lot. If we are coming from Europe or the military or from a prison, etc., it might be last name, then first name. If we are coming from, it really does depend, but certain experiences where we provide middle initials. There are certain experiences where we provide full middle names. The difficulty with just giving a field name to our clients here is that that field name introduces ambiguity. How do I enter my name? Is it last name, first name? Is it first name, last name? Is it first initial or first name, middle initial, so on and so forth? Ambiguity is the enemy of data science. It introduces incorrect, frankly, it introduces error into our data, and we shouldn't have that. So better than name would be things like first name, middle initial, last name, because what that does is it removes the ambiguity. If we were going to have an address for Rock Valley College, could we take any and all zip codes? Sure, we could, but technically speaking, we should be looking at only the zip codes that Rock Valley College serve. So if somebody comes with a zip code from California, maybe that's not exactly what we're looking to provide. So instead of having user enter data for zip code, is it better to have a drop-down box there? Argue it probably is. Because with a drop-down box, what we're doing is we are removing choice from the user. We are eliminating the propensity for error. And what we are doing is we are helping to ensure, not guaranteeing, but we are helping to ensure that we are going to get better data into our systems. The better data we pull into the system, the better decisions we can make based on that data. So, I'm not suggesting that your users are what I like to refer to as maliciously incompetent. They are not just stupid. They are being mean about their stupidity. That is absolutely, positively not how this works. What we are asking people to do is enter things that they would probably prefer not to in order to retrieve a service from us. So it's in our best interest, and it's actually in the best interest of user experience and design, to go through and to reduce the amount of error, to reduce the amount of entry time, and to make both parties, the data entry and the data reception, more fulfilled by that experience. Better data in, better time entering the data, everybody wins. So, do we do this with more tables, or do we do this with more fields in each one of those tables? And what I will tell you is probably what we would prefer to do is more tables than we would have, fewer tables, but with more records in each of them. There is certainly a performance penalty to be paid. The larger your database, the more data you have, the more tables that you are making connections to. Certainly we will see a slight performance penalty there, but it is more robust overall to go that direction. But before you let that be the final consideration that you would pay to how it is that you build these databases, let me just make a quick suggestion to you. I already used the word pay, and that was a bit of a hint as to what to expect here. My suggestion is, however the database is designed that you are coming in to work with, it's actually just faster to stick with that. Unless you are being paid to tear down and rebuild a database from scratch, when you come in as part of a project team to edit, to change, to augment, to bring more functionality to a database, now is not the time. Probably now is not the time to tear down that database and start from scratch. However it is that the database is built, it's already been built. So stick with what you see there, build out in a way that makes sense, and worry about these big structural changes at a different time. The war for tables versus rows can be fought forever, and frankly, you do not need to be a combatant in that war. You can simply take what the database has already given you, add, change, or remove functionality in the way that you were being paid to, and keep moving from there.